points to do pharmacy, while male students could go in with 13 or 14 points or something like that. And what that did, it produced a generation of proud Zimbabwean women who have done well. And actually, I want to talk to the government to say, the policymakers, why can't we do the same for village people? To say, if a student from the village has got 10 points and the program at university requires 11, why can't we give them that leeway to go in also at 10 points? By so doing, we are empowering a community. And believe me, those students are going to catch up. When I went to school in Bulawayo for the first time, people expected me to do well in Ndebele. I mean, I'm from the village. You have to be good in Ndebele. They didn't expect me to do well in science. And so I realized that probably 2 months around February, after school opened in January, I was catching up with the city guys. And not only did I catch up, actually I went on to excel. I remember there was a time when we wrote a test in accounts, one of my favorite subjects at school. I had about 92% and the next person was at 83. Like, that's how much gap I had opened. So I believe if we are going to give the rural guys that chance, believe me, we are not going to bring standards down. Once they get the resources that the city guys have, their standards is most likely going to go up and catch up. So just to answer your question back, my role, I wish to advocate for rural Zimbabweans, whether it's in Zimbabwe or actually as I establish connections even at universities here in the US or in the UK, because I was also a student there. I want to say to them, please consider those who went to rural schools. When people apply for scholarships, check which school they went to. Try to talk to them about Cholocho High School. It's kind of that is completely different from Prince Edward High School in Harare. But it also produces a really grounded person who understands both sides of the life. And that's what I hope to do, a rural advocate. Even the sitting arrangement, the teacher is not always in front. And when I was training to be a teacher here in America, I was told something interesting. I was told that a teacher can teach from anywhere in the classroom. And the eyes will follow you. When I heard that, it was kind of a shock because I was used to having the teacher in front of me. But I've actually discovered the teacher can sit at the back and teach, and students will be listening. Of course, provided they are teaching sensible. So it's that structure that I think we need to introduce in our classrooms back home in Zimbabwe. The teacher shouldn't always be in front. The teacher can actually sit with students and helping them while actually teaching, saying something to the class and then also talking to another students right there. And that's what they call ongoing assessment. As we are teaching, we are also assessing whether students are understanding.
And since we've been talking, you brought up a good point that I think is wonderful, that you are a rural boy and that no matter where you are in the world, you always go back to your rural upbringing. Can you talk about that and how that has impacted your work to this day when you interact with other children?
Actually, the first time I remember was 1992. I finished grade 7 back home in the village. And I went to Bulawayo to start Form 1, which here in America would be like 8th grade. But anyway, the first thing that they said, they called us VK. And I've actually written a poem about that because I do write poems. And then VK meant Velekaya, the one from the village, And to a certain point, I wanted to run away from my villageness. It wasn't cool to be from Cholocho. And actually, I happened to be from Cholocho. And the teacher always said stuff about people from Cholocho. Oh, they do this, they steal, they are murderer. And I wanted to be city. I wanted to talk about MacGyver, wrestling, Shawn Michaels. I didn't want to talk about Cholocho stuff. I mean, who does that? But as I became an adult, I started to realize how much blessed I am to have been brought up in the village. I've had the experience, and I remember this actually came strongly to me when I was in England. And I remember saying to myself, from Cholocho to Oxford. And I was talking to myself as I was walking in Oxford. And I said to myself, I should be proud. And I said to myself, why? I said, because Cholocho, the village, was able to prepare me for England. And I fit in there. I was a student. I did well. I was among top students. And then back from the village. So I realized that the village actually produces a world person who can function in Washington, D.C. and can still function in the village. Unlike the city guys, I know I'm going to go for you guys. You can't function in the village. All you know is the city things, but you know nothing about the village. I feel I'm wholesome. I fit anywhere in the world.
And so, all the young students that you hope to affect in some way, be it here in the States or, of course, back home in rural Zimbabwe, in Cholocho, for example.
Yeah, actually, I'm really trying to come up with what I think are policies that will help people in the village. And one of the things that I wanted to share, I was thinking about it. I said I want to talk to the government of Zimbabwe